seller finance, I want to talk another thing about seller financing, which is the example I gave before of the business falling off after one partner dies. It may not fall off as much as the look back would require. However, so the idea that we look at is that our notes will say you get the lower of level amortization or what you would have taken out of the company had you still been there. And all compensation for all their stockholders is frozen. So they can't jimmy the numbers per se, but the idea here is the pain is shared, the note may extend by 1 or 2 years, but at least you're going to get your heirs are going to get full value for it. Because again, if the note payments take up 90% of the disposable income, how likely is the surviving owners going to continue to pay it? And the idea here is that you want to make sure that your family does get paid for their equity. Another point that's very important is if you're buying someone or you're buying out an existing stockholder, you need covenants not to compete, not to steal clients, not to steal employees. Now, most purchase agreements just say we're going to allocate X dollars to quote the covenant, but it's being paid in one lump sum. That means that if you have to sue a partner, you're suing on an unfunded promise to pay as the company. Instead, what I believe is the best is to say 20% of the purchase price is a covenant not to compete, and it gets paid out over 12 or 24 equal installments. And if they violate the covenant, you pay the money into an escrow account and say to them, you don't think you're cheating? Sue me. The document says prevailing parties gets their fees paid, so therefore an employee is not going to sue if he thinks he's going to lose anyway, and you're not going to be completely unreasonable in trying to enforce the covenant because you'll have to pay him and also pay his attorney's fees as well as your own. But it's a way, the analogy I make about most business deals, my father had a story of a woman gets in the dental chair. Dentist says, open your mouth. She then grabs him by the short hairs. He says, what are you doing? We're not going to hurt anyone, are we, doctor? That's the whole concept of what we're talking about, making this a win-win situation, is that both sides have to walk away from the table not getting everything, because that generally means the deal is going to go bad at some point potentially. Another piece that comes into play in the acquisitions is guarantees. Some of you may be guaranteeing loans for your business, whether it's a credit line or acquisition. The last thing you want is to be on that guarantee or a lease guarantee after you sold the business. So one of the things that we try to mandate also is that the guarantees will be released as soon as practically possible. One of the ways that I've gotten personal guarantees released is to have the business or the other stockholders do a letter of credit and post a letter of credit for a percentage of the guaranteed liability. And you say to the bank, Mr. Bank, which would you rather do? Would you rather chase this guy who's left the business and be in a lawsuit with him, or would you rather accept a letter of credit that you can draw on at any time if I'm in default? But the idea there is you got to build up capital within the business potentially to be able to get the letter of credit. So that's one of the things you need to look at.